Hello, viewer. You either just watched or are preparing to watch a podcast that me and four of my friends recorded called The Final Frontier. Before you watch it or after, I assume that you're going to have some questions, so I just wanted to answer a few. The podcast is meant to focus on space exploration and everything that surrounds that topic. So what that essentially means is we talked about movies, sci-fi, video games, television, action figures, anything that related to space, but then we also took that and applied a more serious position to it. So what that means is we talked about how, for example, the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was an important sci-fi movie, led to people actually believing that 2001: A Space Odyssey was an actual realistic depiction of space. One of the most interesting aspects of this podcast is the misinformation. What I mean by that is the facts, statistics, and stuff that we necessarily can't back up so well. The kind of anecdotal data that we've all been providing as we discussed and talked about the various topics that I went over. Now, what these things teach us is doubly effective. Not only does it show what we don't fully understand in our own society about astronomy and astrophysics, but it also indicates what we believe. That is, what our society holds in our common collective conscious about the topic as a whole. Understanding what we don't know is just as important as understanding the things that we seem well-versed in. For this podcast, I wanted to expand my research and look into the unknown by kind of examining what other students and friends of mine thought about space. It's important to note that the four other members of the podcast haven't been researching the topics. They had no idea what we were going to talk about before we started, other than that it was going to be space-related. And all of their ideas and concepts, whether correct or incorrect, are their own opinions and beliefs. Now, if we look at the five of us as a representative group of 20-something male college students across the country, we get a better understanding of what space exploration truly looks like in the minds of these individuals. I was initially surprised at my friends' responses and their experience with space as a whole. One of the first questions I had asked was, what does space mean to you now, and how did that differ from when you were a child? Now, one thing about that really struck me was how deeply ingrained some of the childhood aspects of space exploration stuck with them into their 20s. It's important to remember that when you're viewing this podcast, which is our first effort, so bear with us, that all of these thoughts, whether you agree with them or not, are the genuine opinions of my friends and I.